Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Jazzy, the Video Store Sasquatch here, and we are doing another Throwback Thursday. We have a couple reviews for you. Just one little news line I thought was a little humorous, and three horror movies from the '90s. Since last week we did the '80s movies. I did not go see a movie Sunday again. I'm going to go this Sunday to Ballerina. Okay, back on track. It's just yep. Yeah, so that's where we are. And just so you know, those I was talking about it last week, and I'm supposed to start this week. The the um action movie list is made, and instead of being June 5th, it will be June 12th until July 9th here. And we'll put the list up Monday with a little special thing on the Facebook. Please join. And basically, what we're talking about here from June 12th to July 9th is it will be an action movie palooza. I think we have every movie. I think we have all movies from '80s and '90s. I was going to do up to 2010. Decided not to. There might be one movie from 2000. I can't remember. Basically, you're gonna get a bunch of Arnold movies. Keanu Reeves has a couple here. Kurt Russell. Sylvester Stallone, of course. So we're gonna get all these movies. We're gonna watch them all for the month here. Talk about them on Throwback Thursday. And that will be, like I said, June 12th through July 9th, and then we'll talk about like the Thursday there, and it'll work out perfect. For the last day will be the Wednesday, the day that I record, so that we can do it on Thursday. So looking forward to that. And this is the first horror movie we're going to talk about from the '90s. Here it is, Mosquito, directed by Gary Jones, starring Gunnar Hansen, Ron Ashton, Steve Dixon, and Rachel Luzelle. A violent massacre caused by a human-sized mosquito forces the lone survivors to band together in a fight for survival. The mosquitoes continue their onslaught. Um, I saw that it was a giant mosquito, and I had to watch it. Supposedly, the producers from The Blob, probably the 1980s Blob, I can't imagine it's the original Blob, made this one two as well. At $200,000 budget, it was made in 1994. This is like not even a B or C movie. This is like a D movie. Um, Basically, start here. We find a ship coming into Earth and it has a giant something of or another. It kind of looks like a giant bug. A mosquito bites its skin, becomes radioactive, and then the whole like swarm of mosquitoes there do it. They start attacking this little town, of course, in the middle of nowhere. And we get, of course, like the three or four perfect people lined up somehow that they all are mosquito experts and know exactly what to do. This is a lot of fun for the movie. It's awesome to see these huge mosquitoes. It's practical effects because it's '94, mixed with like a little computer animations here and there. You can tell just like it's springing. It's the start of the very early computer animations here. Um, Honestly, like I was surprised with the quality of the movie, at least the quality of the look of the movie, not the quality of like the whole movie itself. I mean, it is a pretty decent movie. It's written pretty well for like a monster mash movie. It's exactly what you want. Like you know what I mean. Like they discover that's a monster. They decide how they killed it once is how they're gonna kill it every time, and then it kind of moves on from there. Pretty simple stuff here. It's pretty cool to watch. It was on Shudder. I think all these movies were on Shudder, except maybe one was on Prime. It's a Prime Shudder deal, anyways. So I just say it's Shudder. Um, yeah, this is one I definitely would recommend going to our own to watch. It is like, especially if you like '90 like campy like movies, even like '80 campy movies, or even '70s like campy monster movies, all would work here if that is your thing. It's probably one of the more rarer ones. I don't ever remember seeing anything about Mosquito growing up, so it was interesting to see it. It is Mosquito, directed by Gary Jones. The second movie we're going to talk about here was also on Shudder. It's called Head of the Family, directed by Charles Band, starring Blake Adams, Jacqueline Lavelle, Bob Schott, and James Jones. The head of the family is literally that a giant head on a tiny body who physically controls the rest of this even more unusual family. Like, just that synopsis alone is exactly what this movie is. I saw it, I looked at it, and I was like, "There's no fucking way it's a movie." So I watched it. One of the guys has like huge eyes, basically, and then another one, super strength, Otis, and then the third one is Beauty. So you have one with one giant brain, and he kind of runs them all. And then you got Brains, Beauty, and then the seeing and hearing. This is one of those movies that definitely tests the old is it porn or is it a horror movie question, depending on if you're just walking in. It was 1996, so a lot of implant boobs and blonde hair and hiked up. I'm not gonna complain though; it wasn't that terrible story. It does feel like something I'd probably watch on Skinemax instead of like on like a streaming service. But that's not like anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. To be honest with you, it is. She had like so basically we open up, we see the family, and uh we kind of see that they're weird, and then we go into the diner where we actually meet the Blake Adams character and the blonde in the movie. I believe it's Jacqueline Lavelle, but I'm not really sure. I can't remember how they casted or how they put the cast up. But basically, we go to the diner and we see these two interact with a local drug dealer, and then we find out that the two are having an affair while the while it's there, and it's kind of funny. Like they're talking and all this stuff while it's going on, and eventually, through this, we get to another scene where the drug dealer is doing something, and they're obviously boning in a car, and then they drive along to a lot and see that it's cut off into a house, and the house is the family that we're talking about. And he sees the trucker there, and then that's kind of where he comes up with an idea. And when we get inside the house, we kind of see like all the crazy stuff that this dude is doing with this big old head, which is like one giant head. I feel like I know the actor's voice. I just couldn't tell you who it was. I didn't really look it up. I probably should have before I did the video, but I couldn't find the budget on this one. It is very interesting. He decides to blackmail him from there, and that's kind of where we get the movie here. Is interesting. It's made in 1996, and it's a Full Moon Rising movie. It's one of those movies where you have to watch it just to like see the interest, the just what I'm talking about. To be honest with you, because it is wild. So that movie is Head of the Family, directed by Charles Band. The last movie we're going to talk about here is The Boneyard, directed by James Cumming, starring Ed Nelson, Deborah Rose, Norman Fell, and James Osterman. Children turn into zombies, wreak havoc in a coroner's building with just a burned out psychic, and experienced cop, and two coroners to stop the madness. Honestly, this movie I actually knew like two of the people in it. This was actually one of the best movie out of the three, to be honest with you, way on it. But it also has the biggest budget. I'm guessing $850,000. 1991 is when it was made. A great practical effects and makeup for the zombie. I almost feel like it's like a half Asian movie and half our movie. Like you know how like Power Rangers kind of takes all the Power Rangers stuff and makes it like then just kind of you take all the scenes where the Power Rangers are all shot before in Asia, and then all the scenes of the teenagers, just the teenagers are shot with American audiences, like kind of like a saving film type deal. Like you kind of know what I'm saying. I feel like this is kind of like one of those things that happened here with this movie because like a lot of stuff is Asian and like especially the monsters or not zombies or monsters or children or ghouls or whatever you want to call them. I don't really specifically say. I guess it's zombie and the thing. They looked wicked. They looked Asian as hell. Like not like ring Asian. Like that's what I'm saying. I think that this movie was kind of like maybe made with both intentions in mind. I really like this one. This one was the best of them all. This is the one I definitely would recommend you go and watch. If you watch any of the three that we talked about today. Basically, we start with psychic having a dream. We kind of see that's a bad nightmare, and that she's kind of still kind of wounded from whatever happened before. She like is reluctant to even do this. The cops kind of had to talk her into even going into the coroner's office to meet with them. We kind of get the background about the children who are the zombies that we're talking about. They kind of go all crazy. And then we get to the coroner's office. We meet the crazy lady who you'll know. I can't remember her name just off the top of my head, but you'll know who she is. And she has this dog who ends up paying off in the end. Like they guess they had two covers I was looking up for the DVD. One was like a horror release cover, and the other was a comedic horror or comedic cover with a dog on it. And if you when you watch this movie, you understand why that is like hilarious. There's just so many like good stuff about this movie, and it's still kind of made with like the '80s charm and kind of like the '80s story with like the '90s Satanic Panic. So everything's cool there. Early '90s Satanic Panic. Everything is like kind of mixed. Like I said, I wish I would have looked it up, or I would have looked harder and seen how accurate I am about that, because I bet I am about 100% right. That half the scenes are either British, American, and the other half are from Asia. But it is definitely worth the watch. It is The Boneyard, directed by James Cummings. And then we're going to talk about the box office real quick here for May 30th to June 1st. I did not go see a movie, so I don't have a guess here. Lilo and Stitch did $61.8 million. It's the number one movie this week, was number one movie last week. It did at $292.7 million total. Pretty impressive, especially for the year we've had. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, $27.2 million this weekend, $129.3 million total. So the two movies from last week are still one and two. And then the third movie is a new movie from this week, and that is Karate Kid Legends at $20.3 million total. Not a bad opening weekend. I bet they wanted to kind of be ahead of Mission Impossible at least. I don't know if they ever thought they'd get ahead of Lilo and Stitch though. And then Final Destination Bloodlines, I told you I always do over 10 million, made 10.9 million. It's a little engine that could. $114.7 million total. I guarantee they made their money back, got their budget back, or their advertising budget, or whatever they say that disqualifies a normal budget or a normal bomb. They got all the money that they needed back for this movie. There's definitely going to be another Final Destination movie. So excited for that. And then I don't remember the dude's name, but the WB president tried to get a pay raise or a pay approval, and he got it denied by 52 point million dollar pay salary denied by the shareholders, and I do not blame them, especially because if you hear me talk the most about what I talk about is WB and how they always mismanage their like movie premieres with timing of stuff, like having a Christmas movie come out in July and then a July movie come out on Christmas. It doesn't make sense to me. It's been happening since the pandemic. So it is interesting to see the shareholders are at least revolt a little bit. Let's see how that news. I don't know if I'll continue that article. It was just something humorous I saw, but let's just see how that news unfolds. And this was Throwback Thursday for you guys. Thank you guys very much for watching. Sorry about not being here for the last two Sundays. I will be back on it, going to see new movies. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please comment any of these movies you've seen, if you like them or not. And thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good rest of your day or night. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.